I'm very excited to present Allison and Rio. Oh, hey, you guys will be having already.
Good to see you, man.
Thank you. Rio, Allison, thank you so much.
Thanks,
Vigo, enjoy.
All right. Good to see everyone. Even the late stragglers coming in.
Yeah.
So Allison, I feel like this is stop number 3 or 4 in the Rio and Allison Global Roadshow, right?
I think so. This has been a really good couple of years of us touring the world together.
Yeah, so it was like New York, right? Twice, I think.
New York.
France.
Cannes, yep.
Cannes, yeah, here. So, all right, so we're going to talk about Amazon Marketing Cloud, Tealium, first-party data, and how to activate it to get much better return on ad spend and results from your advertising campaigns. So, I guess before we jump in, Rio Longacre, Managing Director at Slalom. Allison.
Hi, everyone. I'm Allison Kwan. I'm the Global Head of Ad Tech Business Development within Amazon Ads.
All right, so it's the premise here, and this is what I like about this job, is things are always changing. I guess in advertising marketing, there's a new acronym every couple months, right? Whether it's supply side curation or data clean rooms or CDPs or identity resolution, it comes at you pretty quickly. And it's fun to try to keep up. But one thing we've been tracking over the last few years is the slow degradation of third-party signals as platform changes have rolled out due to privacy laws. So we'll get into that in a couple of slides about what laws have been coming out and how's that been impacting marketers. But because of that, we've seen an increased trend of marketers wanting to leverage their first-party data to replace some of those third-party signals. And not to say third-party signals have gone away, they're still important, but combining the two together is very powerful. And the combination of Amazon Marketing Cloud plus Tealium with first-party data is a very potent one. So world without first-party data, and when we started working with different clean rooms, we noticed that many organizations weren't activating with first-party data, and many of them weren't even pushing first-party data to DSP to do things like audience matches or building seeds or even suppression. So the world without first-party data, understanding that there's signal loss, knowing that third-party cookies are slowly going away, and approximately, I think it was 80% I read recently of all users will be cookieless or ID-less. So it does create some problems in terms of the ability to understand who people are, and for addressability it gets more challenging. So with first-party data, it unlocks a lot of possibilities in terms of understanding who people are and how you can target them and what types of advertisements you can put in front of them and how you can understand the incrementality of those advertisements as well as the how well they're performing. So turning back the clock a little bit, as privacy laws have rolled out, the big one was GDPR initially, and that kind of acted as the template for a lot of the privacy laws globally. We've seen different technologies become adopted and slowly fade into irrelevance. DMPs started coming along, data management platforms. Those who don't know what they were really tools designed to consolidate first-party data with cookie data. A lot of it was third-party in order to build audiences for activation. Most CDPs actually disappeared as privacy laws rolled out. I think a lot of maybe was kind of last one standing, right? But we have seen a recent uptick on the publisher side, which is interesting. We started doing work with CDPs, or customer data platforms, around, I guess, 2016, 2017. We started seeing that. And then over the last few years, as privacy laws rolled out, we became aware of this really interesting technology called data clean rooms. In fact, I think we ran into a guy named Kirat who was on Amazon Ads at, I think it was a reInvent. And I remember thinking, this is going to be the future. This is really going to take off. People are going to need this. And the reason for that is that data clean rooms, like Amazon Marketing Cloud, provide a place where multiple parties can collaborate and merge their data together and join it together. But what I think makes AMC really cool is not only can you join the information together from multiple parties, but you have access to the rich signals from Amazon. So you're pulling in incredible shopping information, segments, audience information, and buying patterns from across all of Amazon, which is really the richest e-commerce platform in the world, right? So being able to combine your data with that is very powerful, and it replaces some of the signals that we're losing as third-party cookies slowly go away. We're able to replace and augment that, and we're going to go into exactly what are some of the benefits, but at a high level, being able to take your data to build seed audiences, being able to suppress existing customers, for example, we've been working with a large telco, and we've been able to boost their suppression by about 40%. So they're not remarketing to the existing customers they've already acquired. That's boosted the return on ad spend by around 10%. We've also been able to better target their best customers with the highest lifetime value. We've boosted CLV by around, I think it's 11-12% last time I checked. So those are some of the things you can do using a tool like Amazon Marketing Cloud. We can only do it if you use your first-party data, onboard it into the platform, and use it for activation. So it'd be great if you could talk a little bit about Amazon Ads and Tealium.
Sounds good. How many of you work with Amazon Ads today? Lots of folks. You're familiar with Amazon DSP, Amazon Marketing Cloud? Yes, no? Okay, cool. So then, most of you are aware that Amazon Marketing Cloud is the Amazon Ads data clean room. It works hand in hand with Amazon DSP, which is our media buying software. And I think Rio did a really good job of teeing up what makes it unique. And so to give you like a real world example, Slalom was working with a global CPG brand, and like many brands, they really needed to make some investment decisions, finalize their strategy for the year, and they were really looking to understand what was the total impact on sales, not just within Amazon stores, but their direct-to-consumer channels as well, and how are ads effectively or not effectively driving that business growth. And so what Slalom helped them find out is that 88% of their sales did come from ad-exposed customers, which is good. But even better was that 51% of those customers were new to brand, i.e. they hadn't actually made a purchase in the last year. So really bringing in new customers to the business. And on top of that, 85% of purchases involved multiple Amazon Ads products. So from streaming TV, ads on Prime Video ads, to display and mobile, and then all the way down to sponsored ads, which I thought was really cool to see because it really reinforces the need for a full funnel approach with Amazon. I think a lot of folks often think of us in terms of our ability to drive sales through Amazon stores, which is something we're really good at, but we're also really useful at helping you build a brand and connecting all of those upper funnel metrics down to the final sale.
Yeah, I guess before you go on too, one thing I thought was great about this case study that demonstrates the power of when you're uploading your first-party data and you're using that in the clean room in order to run these analyses. And without that data, sure, you can see, I mean, this is the question we get a lot about retail media. Okay, we're running ads on Amazon, whether it's sponsored brands or search or display or Amazon Prime Video, right? They're running these different ads, and we see purchases happening. Now, would they have purchased anyway? They didn't run the ads, right? And that's always the question.
Of course
not.
It's
called incrementality, right? So now we know it works. We run these analyses all the time, but brands are always asking that question. So I think what's great about this is with the first-party data, you're able to see everything that's going everywhere. Like with the telco example I mentioned, they were pulling in transactions that are happening in stores, right? Or if you implement CAPI, which we've done recently with another retailer, we can now see from all the retail locations exactly what purchases are happening, and we can see which ads they watched and understand ad exposed versus not ad exposed, who's then going out and making purchases, and that can help us adjust our advertising and our bid strategy. It's very powerful. You can only do that if you're using your first party data in order to run these analyses. What you have on Amazon without it's amazing, but completing that picture gives you a huge advantage.
Yeah, for sure. And of course, I think it's intuitive to work with Amazon Ads when you sell your products via Amazon stores, but whether you sell products or don't sell products through Amazon stores, I think it's important to take a broad view of the value of the signals that Amazon Ads can offer. And so just to underscore Rio's earlier point, right, like we have over 200 million Prime customers globally, and we've sold over 150 million Fire TV devices. So that gives like a really rich set of signals to really understand who your customers are. Even if they're not buying your products on Amazon, they're likely engaging with Amazon in some form or fashion, whether they're shopping, streaming movies or TV, listening to music, watching gamers on Twitch. There's a whole host of different ways to engage, and we can help tell you and enrich your picture of who your consumers are and how to make your creative messages and your advertising strategies much more relevant. And so once all of that data is unified in Amazon Marketing Cloud, I would say insights are just the beginning. That's often the first step that our partners like Slalom will take. But we've been working really hard to add new features like bringing your own modeling capabilities to AMC. So for example, you can bring custom attribution and audience modeling algorithms to AMC now. So you can really tailor the audiences and strategies to what your specific KPIs are. And longer term, I think, Rio, you alluded to this, is we're going to enable custom bidding as well. And so increasing that interconnectivity so everything can be fully automated and optimized back into your Amazon DSP campaigns.
When we started working with brands who are using Amazon Marketing Cloud, we realized many of them, a lot of times because of privacy or legal concerns, they weren't actually uploading first-party data. So it was kind of our goal working together. Let's demonstrate the value of using first-party signals, see what it does. And it became really obvious that CDPs were the obvious place that data would be sitting that we could potentially onboard. So we made a big push to do that, and it was great when we found out that Tealium was building a connector, which would facilitate really easily first-party data onboarded into AMC without having to go through a lot of those hoops. So the fact that it exists is great. You can see from the case study, I think it was a couple slides ago, about the work we did with it was a global cosmetics company actually, and some of the results we saw. So the Tealium connector is there. It enables easy onboarding of first-party data. As Allison mentioned, you can build custom audiences. You can run specific analyses like incrementality, path to purchase. You're able to see who are your most valuable customers. You're able to see which ads are people seeing, who then goes on, how many times should they be exposed to ads, for example. Do you want to set frequency caps? So it unlocks a lot of incredible insights, but only if you use the first-party data. And the good news is if you're on Tealium and you're advertising Amazon ads, you have a connector in place already.
Yeah, that's such a good point. A lot of this technology can seem overwhelming or really difficult to use, but it's really not. And I think that's a big part of the investment we've made in our partnerships and integrations to make it as convenient as possible, meet you where you are, and make everything as automated as possible.
Awesome. I think we can go maybe to the next slide here.
There we go.
We're getting close to the end, but the two together, it's very powerful, right? Tealium, the fact that it has such great, rich first-party signals that are gathered, stored in your CDP, but the fact that you can gather them from your tag manager or from event stream. I think the point was made yesterday, there are only 3 tag managers out there, right? So you got one of the 3. So I think you can pull an incredible data set that you can then use to onboard into AMC UC connector. And I think you touched on this a little bit earlier. It doesn't have to end there. Once you build these audiences using custom models, you could have AMC on AWS Cleanroom. You could take those models, you could potentially activate them in different activation channels as well. You could push those to Google Ads or Trade Desk and other places in order to take what you've learned in AMC, apply it elsewhere to get better return on ad spend across all of your advertising channels, which I think is really cool. And that's what we're starting to see brands experiment with right now, and I think that's really cool. So I think it's a bright future. We're bullish on it, and if anyone has any questions about how this works, what data foundation do we need, how does this connector function, what are some of the things we can do with their first-party signals once they get into AMC, we're happy to share those. It's a really powerful tool, and it's frankly just gotten better and better over time. And I was commenting just the other day how all of your ad tech tools, I feel like AMC's gotten better and better, but ADSP as well. I mean, I don't know if I frankly would have recommended brands to use it 4 or 5 years ago, but it's like the third-party supply you've been bringing on, the new functionality. I totally understand why it's gaining market share and doing so well. So it's been great working together on this.
Thanks, and thanks for the help and the support for getting us here.
And that is it for our presentation. We purposefully saved some time in case there were any questions. So happy to address any questions from the audience, if there are any. Yes, sir.
I have a question. Do you see, hey, Jeff from Tealium, do you see average lift when people deploy CAPI as compared to if they're just doing tags with Amazon ads?
Do you want to take it or should I?
Take that? Why don't you take it?
Yes, we do. I mean, CAPI is a better way. I think it was brought up yesterday that if you're using just tags, it's not 100%, right? So CAPI is a better way to do it. The downside of CAPI is that it can be, getting it approved can take a while. CAPI's not hard to implement, but like going through the approval processes with InfoSec and legal and IT can take a few weeks, but it's worth it. Like you're going to track everything. It's a better way. I mean, sometimes you have to do first-party data upload, a one-time manual upload, then CAPI, because CAPI only has a specific look-back window. But so you may have to do like a one-time uploader, but the data uploading tools have gotten much better, and like they're very, very easy to use now as well. So,
has Amazon Ads published, some of the other CAPI providers published the actual average improvement in ROAS? Have you guys published a number like that?
We have not yet today. Our events manager and conversions API is relatively new to the industry, so we're still accumulating that data, but we will share more insights on that to come.
Okay, thanks.
My guess is it'll probably vary a little bit depending, but we're seeing, I mentioned the one before, we ended up saying, depending on whether they want to suppress, I mean, just suppression is such a basic use case for the first party data. You provide the match. You could say we want to suppress existing customers. And we even found over time, we were able to boost that suppression more and more as we were able to bring in more third-party data sources, like build households, for example, and exclude certain audiences we didn't want to target, right? So I think we ended up, so it's over time, I think there's some low-hanging fruit you can always hit, Jeff, but then as you implement more things, it improves over time more and more. Someone in the back.
I'm Justin, FanDuel Sports Network, and we actually recently became a Prime Video, or became available on Prime Video through Prime Video channels. And I have a intro call with our Amazon rep tomorrow to actually start our Amazon or AMC integration, I guess. So getting onboarded with that. Any questions, like gotchas I should be aware of just going in? I'm a little unprepared at the moment, just haven't been here all week. So any quick advice you can give me just going into that meeting would be helpful.
Yeah, sure. I mean, okay, so where to begin? I mean, first and foremost, I would say the folks that have the most success with Amazon Marketing Cloud take like a test and learn approach. Like, don't try to bite off everything right as you go. Set a learning agenda, figure out where your highest priority use cases are, and you'll work back from that. Because often tools like AMC can do a lot. You can go in a lot of different directions. I would say too, like, I'm assuming you're a Tealium customer as well. So really, your Amazon Ads team can help you a lot more if they have a clear understanding of what first-party data sets you have, where they all are, the different use cases for them, and they can then map to like what outcomes they can help you drive via Amazon Ads if they have a very clear understanding of that. So all of that, I feel like, as a due diligence component is going to set you up for success here to move really fast on things like these connectors and know immediately what you want to drive from it.
I guess my advice would be very similar to that. Once you get AMC is easy to spin up. You spin it up, the Amazon Ads can do that pretty quickly. You can run analyses immediately with it, even without the first party data upload and match. So I'd say what we usually recommend is run some of the most basic analyses in order to understand how your media is performing. And experimenting with Prime Video is awesome. I mean, I think in Australia they actually sold out of all the inventory. There was so much demand. So it just proves there's so much demand for high value CTV and STV inventory. So I recommend running some analyses immediately. Get the first party data up there. It'll take a little bit. Even with the connector, you have to upload it. You want to see what your match rates look like. And then you'll then decide, okay, what do we want to do with this? What analyses do we want to run? So there's 2 steps or 3 steps. Baseline analyses, upload data, do the connect, do the match, and then you can start to run some of the more advanced ones, looking at lifetime value, and depending on what information you're able to upload, I would then do those next. And if you need any help navigating that, just let us know.
Thank you.
Add to that. This is Matt from Tealium. I think when we were talking last night, also is just you look at these activation strategies, and with what Rio's talking about, engaging a partner to really understand what the ultimate goal is super important. But we have the white glove type of service to help you. So with AMC, we've worked with Anu and the team at Amazon Ads. So if you need to get this set up, we have lots of ways to support you with getting the data going and then helping you tune it. And it's not just us, it's us plus the partners like Slalom, plus the Amazon Ads team to help you see the signals, refine the measurement, and then get better at quantifying the value of that. So it's exciting to see what we've been able to do.
Totally. There's been so many times we ran the analyses with AMC, and the client was maybe a little skeptical, and when we definitively showed like every dollar they were spending on Amazon Ads had better ROAS than almost every other channel. So, and then there's one client, I think they went from 10% of their budget to 50% now. And it continues to deliver as we target. So we see that a lot. Questions?
I'll plan it. But if I'm using like the tag manager TIQ, thank you. That was so fast. And I'm using Cappy. What is the perk for using AMC, or is there value in using AMC?
Rio, I think you should answer. I think it's awkward
Can you say that again?
my own teammates' question.
Tag manager versus.
Like if someone's using Tag Manager and they're using Cappy, because there was a slide with data silos of just using those two, what is then the benefit of using AMC?
Using AMC over just Tag Manager and Cappy? Well, AMC, you have access to the Amazon signals, right? I mean, which is incredible. You have like the most richest e-commerce database in the world, right? That you can run these queries against. So get the data in there, see what matches up, and then you can begin to, whether it's build custom audiences, even you can create, so you can hit an exact audience, you can create lookalikes, you can experiment with those, and you can try different ones. So, and those are things you can only do within AMC. And additionally, with the first party data, you're able to, there's the table stakes things like suppression, but then I think all of the advanced reports are, I mean, that's just for the magic, is in my opinion. You can only do that within AMC. And Amazon continues to build features for AMC as well, which has been fun to watch.
Hi, I think this is more of a question for Rio, but I'm with an agency group. Most of our clients are on Google, Meta, and Amazon.
Yep.
They all have a clean room solution. How do you think about like standardizing your approach across all of those clean room solutions? The kinds of analysis that you do across all of them, and just trying to think cross-channel. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's a good question. Yeah, so they all have their clean rooms, but obviously there's AMC for Amazon Ads, there's ADH for Google, which is only really, I mean, it's not available for, it's just YouTube right now. It'll be available for search. I think it's PMax is going GA soon, and then search will be later this year, I believe. But and there's Meta Advanced Analytics. So yeah, there's different clean rooms. I guess my advice would be, like, one thing we're seeing, I think we're seeing a trend, a lot of brands have been uploading first-party data directly to DSPs. I think we're starting to see them go to clean rooms instead, which is good. But to address your question of, like, how do you bring it all together, we're talking about that a little bit earlier so that's why Amazon rolled out like AMC on ACR, on AWS Clean Room. The ability to have portable models you can then bring over and then activate with different channels. So we're starting to see kind of the one clean room to rule them all. One place you can take models built in one and signals from another and import them over. That's the trend we're starting to see. I think it's a little early, but I definitely see people beginning to build towards that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rio, so much. Thank you, Allison.
Thank you.
This is amazing. Very helpful.